Hanno, thank you so much for being so patient. You're up to present coming up. So.
Okay, right.
And with this, I'm still getting used to this big haircut and clean shaven.
Change, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
There you go. Can you guys see my screen?
Absolutely.
Okay, so yes, what I've got is a really big idea. So I want to use Cardano to build a new economic model, which is like way out of scope for like, so this is a big dream. Our current economic system works on, the value of it works on scarcity. So if you have one Picasso painting, it's worth a lot more than if you had like 1,000 of them. So what OIC does, the economic value in OIC, in this system I'm creating, this alternative economy, is life and ecology. That's the value. So instead of having the value tied to scarcity, it's now shifted to life and ecology. So firstly, who is this for? Like, it's for people who want to make money. It's for people who value ecology, for people who want healthy food, clean water, who value life, all those things, instead of just chasing profits. So, but people will make profit in this anyway, because it's a system that's designed to do that. So we don't need people to be altruistic like most other systems do. This is built into it, so it ties into all the human needs of like looking after yourself. You know, when we spoke earlier, when they did the first presentation tonight, she said like economy is always in contrast with ecology, with the impact stuff. And what this does is that it aligns the two together. So it brings them together. So how this works is in every economy, you need two things to make an economy work. Firstly, you need to be able to store your value, your money, in something like Bitcoin. So that's why they call it digital gold. Nobody wants to spend it because it's a way of saving money. And the second thing you need to have a healthy economy is where people actually spend money, so that there's a flow and a movement in the currency. So in OIC, what we did is we split this into two accounts. It's the same currency, the same money system, but it's split into two. One is a savings account and one is a spendings account. But you can only spend from your spendings account when you look after the ecology. So how this works is, at the end of every month, the following happens. We take your spending account and we actually trash it, and whatever was in there gets lost. And that's how we force people to actually spend money. So if they don't spend it, it just disappears. We throw it away. And then what happens is we take whatever's in the savings account and we move it into the spendings account. So you get, so you want in your savings account, you don't want to deplete that, you want to save it. And then you want to spend from your spendings account. And the trick with this is the spending account value can only be spent on environmental friendly products and services. So now the next thing is, how do we know that a product or a service is environmentally friendly? So this is how it works. Somebody will upload a product, for example, a banana, and they will say what the price is in this alternative currency. And then it will ask them a lot of questions like, how was the soil worked? What fertilizer was used? Was there any pesticides? Where was the water source? And each type of category of product will have a different set of questions. So, and as you change now you'll see the total price is the 10 units, and it's all coming from the savings account as a default. And as you change your options, it starts making the spending account more, so that you spend more on the nature account that's going to get lost. So as you carry on, eventually what you try and do, what the seller and the buyer both want to happen in the system is both of them want to spend from the spendings account, because the seller can then charge more for his product. The buyer is willing to pay more because he's going to lose the money anyway if he doesn't use it. So he wants to like fork out the money. And then when the buyer wants to buy it, he can see transparently where all the how the breakup was made up between the two accounts. Now, this proposal of mine that I'm putting out is a request for 5,600, and this is to make the two economic systems work together. So you need the scarcity, so you need a fixed supply on the one side in our current economy, but in the OIC economy, it's like a growing economy all the time. So there's going to be maths needed to work out how much money can move over from the spending account to the savings account. Because as people create new money, there needs to be some method to actually cap that at some stage or make it work better so the two economies can work together. And I think Cardano was made for this kind of system where it's got the tokenomics, fungible tokens, it's got all the tools we need to actually make this work and then drive the ecology to a better place. And my hope and dream is that one day this system will actually become obsolete and we can actually work in a world where we don't need money at all, but we can give out things with one another or ecology in some ways. So this is like a stepping stone so we can get to a resource-based economy where the resources are what matter, and then we all look after what we have so we can work together to build a better world. So yeah, that's my presentation.
Any connections here?
Look, it's fairly,
really incredible.
It's fairly a unique idea because I haven't seen anybody putting all this into a place where, and like everybody will tell you that the economy and the ecology are against each other, and in this economy it is. But if we just change the paradigm a little bit, and just think about this, you could grow you could have an avocado tree in your garden, and you could use it to pay part of your mortgage. Because the avocado tree will generate stuff and you can sell it in the system, and nature's paying for that. And the truth is nature's already paying for all those things. We're just not our economic system is just not in alignment with nature. So this just brings it together and just makes it work.
Gonzalo, with your economic background, what are your thoughts? Is this out of the box thinking or what?
It is out of the box thinking. The issue I always say, economic behavior is related to motivations, incentives. I mean, I'm making decisions based on what incentivizes you to make that decision, right? And what you expect in return. It's interesting to see you're going back to a barter, right, model where you just exchange stuff.
Not really, because there's real currency involved, right? So it's not barter because it's like I'm creating the currency like we create currency out of debt currently. I'm just creating the currency to look after environment. So it's not really barter. It's a proper exchange system, medium of exchange.
What I love about it is that you can recognize, because if I pick up, this cup, where was it made?
Exactly.
What damage was it done? I'm thinking about building materials. If I go to a lumber mill and I've got buy a 2x4, was it taken out of a rainforest? Was it sustainable? These are the pieces that have been missing in that. And there is the beauty in the barter system if it's on a small scale, because people, where they're getting their trees from, where they're growing their bananas. We're talking about scaling it now, and it's sort of like, you know, checking off those boxes. There is going to be that, like the guy that sells the bananas and he's checking off these boxes. There's some area in there which another project will have on authenticating that. I'm not going to worry about that. But the fact that you've got this, your budget is tiny for what this is. And I see it as an experiment. Crazy idea. Yes, I love it.
So
One
thing you should know is I've already got a centralized version that's up and running. We trialed it at a school and everything. So there has been some development in this in the past. So it's not.
So how can we start working with this somehow in Cardano for climate?
So yeah, there's a lot of development needed on the back end to make this work. So I'm probably going to have to work with Gimbal Labs to get something going on. But I mean, it's like I've got the idea and I've done it before. So I just need to put it on the blockchain because that's where it needs to be. But to use your example of where the wood comes from, for example, in your case, you would pay less for the wood that's more environmentally friendly for you than you would pay for the one that's damaging, which is fantastic for you. That's exactly what it
Well, it's absolutely opposite at this point, because I am willing to pay more for someone who harvests their timbers sustainably. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I don't even go to the big stores, box stores, to buy lumber. My husband does. But you know, if we had this option, he's not going to go to the lumber store anymore. Absolutely. If he can save money, because that's why he goes there.
Yeah, he'll be able to create the money for the transaction because it's environmentally friendly, and it's exactly in alignment with what you want to do. And it also encourages financially. So the two of them are working together.
The other interesting. Oh, sorry, Jane, go ahead.
I have a question. In fact, both of you, Heno and Gonzalez, are both experts on currency. And these days, I'm having real worry about the discussion that's going on, especially with African politicians. When they know cryptocurrency is becoming inevitable, they are talking about CBDCs. And programmable money.
Can you say that again? Again, they're talking about what?
CBDCs, or this central bank digital currencies. And imagine programmable money that's controlled by corrupt officials. That's going to be really set us back few years.
That is why we need an alternative economy that's in the hands of the people as well. Because if you can build this as an alternative, people would rather go with alternative. And also, I've been chatting to the people of Extinction Rebellion, so I've been talking to Gail and sending her information. And I'm sure if I can get this going, she would actually support this. And if you get Extinction Rebellion on here, this is massive. We could change the world if they get on board with us on this.
How can you kind of subvert that movement? They're I mean, including the IMF and the World Bank are talking with the governments about CBDCs. These are very powerful people.
So you
how do you think?
You can't work in their economy. That's the trick. You need to create an alternative, and people need to benefit from the alternative, which is what this does. If you have two systems and the one is terrible for you and the one's better for you, even if the one's on blockchain, they can't outlaw the blockchain. It's not possible. Nobody owns it. It's like, that's why Charles did this. It's to have this anonymous thing that people can't fight against, because there's nothing to fight. You can't go and fight everybody, because this is everybody, right? So it's not there's no switch to switch off. So that's the trick. You need an alternative economy that people can buy into and use to actually make this happen, because that's the only way. You can't, and you want to make government sweat. make them irrelevant, because this will make them irrelevant. Because if it's irrelevant, if people don't see the benefits in government anymore, or the money system that they provide, then that's the win for all of us as a species. That's the win.
I definitely need more time to hang out with you, Hanno, and see this, what you've got offline, and the experiment with the kids and stuff.
Yeah, it's a massive
Really
one.
incredible.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a big idea. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I think if we want to, something big needs to happen for us to survive as a species. I think we can't just keep on playing with the things we have. We need something to really challenge what we have.
Well, you have my vote. Oops, did I say that on the recording? Yes, I'm glad I did, because you have my vote, Hanno. Absolutely. It's a crazy idea. It's out of the box thinking. And I'm going to tell you, I play solitaire a lot when I need to sort of just unwind and stuff. I create my own rules, because who made the rules for solitaire? I'm sorry, but you know, I force myself to think out of the box and make these crazy rules just so that I will test myself when I come against something that, oh, that's my old thinking. You know, do we know for sure that this wouldn't work? No idea. Is this going to harm anybody to go with this? I'm thinking not. Are you hurting the environment?
Not.